Hi, I'm Delandis. Welcome back to my channel. I want to do a quick tutorial on how to block out your brows. And this is the process that I use when I am doing a drag makeup look. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the process that I do, that I personally use to block out my brows. This is what I find easiest, so let's get started. You are going to need a wipe or an alcohol wipe, a spoolie, popsicle stick, and I love to use for my glue Prozade. Now, there are other people who use things like glue stick. I don't use the glue stick because I don't feel that it gives me a secure hold like the Prozade does. Let's get started. I start with that wipe, and what I do is I go in that brow and I just make sure that I take away any moisturizer that I may have on that brow. You don't want that brow to be full of oil, okay? Because I always moisturize my skin before I do this step. Also too, because I tend to get stray hairs. If I feel that I'm getting stray hairs, I go and I do some clipping because it makes it so much easier blocking out those brows if you don't have these brows that are doing this or strays, okay? So once that's clean, I let it dry. Once those brows are dry, I like to go in and grab my popsicle stick, and notice that I snap it in half. I like to use the little skinny ones too. So I snap it in half, grab my Prozade, and I take a little dab right here. Yes. Now go back in to the brow and I saturate. Boom. I get up in there. Get up in there real good. Now this stuff dries quick, and that's the thing. It dries quick, so you have to move quickly. And I just get this Prozade from any beauty supply store. You can order it online. Yeah, it's a prosthetic glue. I have to move quickly. I take my spoolie and I go up. I brush all those hairs in one direction. And I go in with my hand, my middle finger, and I start placing that down, just taking it, pushing it against. Now I have my wipe ready because there's going to be residue, and I don't want that residue drying there because it will cause for a mess later on in your process with these brows. Grab that wipe, get the excess off, and I wait. I grab something to fan with. You can grab that envelope from that unpaid bill. Or you can grab your voting registration envelope because you guys have got to get out there and vote. Let it dry. And while that's drying, I move on to the other brow just to save some time. Ah! See, it's messy. It's messy. Creating a mess here, guys. There we go. Get up in there. That's the thing, gotta move quickly. You don't have time. Ooh. Going with that spoolie. Brush those hairs up. And be ready to go in with that middle finger. Pushing those brows. Boom. Bam. Look at that. All right. Go in, get that excess off. And back to your envelope and fan. And guys, you can use this process if you're doing something creative, like a really creative look that you want to take away your brows, or if you just want to do a makeup look drawing your brows on. You know, I know with my guy brows, they're guy brows, and so I'm trying to reshape my brows and do something different with them, so that's why I block them out. All right, going back in again for coat number 2. Now I typically do 3 coats. Usually that's enough for me, but if I feel like I'm not getting a stick, then I'll go in and I will do a final coat. Use those hands and just pressing it in. Pressing it in. This is like a really tedious process. It's not the most fun, but You know, this used to be the hardest step for me, but I have it down pat now, so it's so much easier when I'm doing my brows. So much easier than it used to be. You just get used to it. Who told you that blocking out brows is difficult? Probably every single person who's ever done them. But once again, you get the hang of them. It's so easy. It's so easy. If I'm dancing, you know, this is really the best thing to do for me because those brows are not gonna lift. You can sweat, they ain't gonna move. Now at this point, because I've done 3 coats already, I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna look side to side to see if I see any texture. If I see any texture, then I'll go back in one more time. I'm gonna go back in with my brows and I will set it with a translucent powder. Take my powder puff and I'm just gonna press into those brows. And once you've gotten them nice and coated, I take a fluffy brush and I just dust all of that off. Now, I like to take this next step, because I feel that it's beneficial, especially when you have these dark hairs coming through. So I color correct that brow. So I go in with a brush and I take my orange color corrector and I go right in over that brow so I can take some of that blue or that black away so that you don't see through that brow. And once that's into the brow, I go back again and I give it another dust here. And dust off. Now the fun part, watching all this baby disappear. All right, so I'm going into my foundation that I like to use. I'm gonna grab a sponge and now I'm going to go over those brows first. Look at that. Boom. What I like to do, which is what I forgot to do before I cover those brows with makeup, is to go in with my primer and I place it right above those brows. And then I finish covering them with makeup and voila. Now I look like an alien, a sexy alien. And that's the end of this brow blocking tutorial. I hope that this was very helpful to you guys. My name is Delandis. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to this channel and press that bell notification so that you may get any notifications for any videos that I may upload. Oh, I should also come to you guys with a brow tutorial, but for right now, we'll leave it here. Block out those brows, and lesson number 2 on drawing those brows will be coming up very shortly. Bye.